Ahem. I think it's working. Give me a second. We're almost there. A couple minutes and we'll be live. The Major's going to be joining us, as well as our dear friend Tara Dublin Rocks in the second hour. Hit that like early, everybody. Don't forget to hit that like. Hit the like. I don't like it. You like it and you take it. It's kind of inverted, but you'll get it. I'm trying to find a ridiculously hilarious immigration-related video that I watched that I have to show you the shorthand of. It's going to be glorious. All right. All right. All right. Let's do it. 3, 2, 1. There we go. Hey, it's working. Look at that. Good morning, everybody. Mic's on, video. You're there. I'm here. What more could you want? Hit that like. I mean, I don't even know why I even bother to do a show anymore. I mean, shouldn't it be enough that I'm here on a Monday morning? I mean, for God's sake. Hi, everybody. Hi, Ali Osher. How are you? Blues Loving, what's happening? Gatto, good to see you. Hello. Chat room, welcome. Let's see if my chat button works. So let's see if it kicks in. So it's a beautiful thing. I weep sometimes when I see that it works. When the things work like they worked yesterday, or it worked moments ago, even, it just brings a tear to my eye. I can't. Anyways, hit the like, support the show if you can in any possible way. Patreon.com/AlSparks. Super chats, Venmo. I should set up a buy me a coffee thing, but you get it. You know how to help. bits if you're on the Twitch machine. Also, subscriptions on there work. And if you have Amazon Prime, it doesn't cost you a dime. Also, memberships. You can take memberships on both, I think, the Facebook page and the YouTube page do something similar like that. And you can gift them out to other people if you already have one. And that's a way to support the show and blah, 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 blah. There, I did it. Are you happy? I did the real professional streamer spiel. It needs some work. It needs a spit polish. But fucking hell. And also, let's see if we got... I don't see the major in the wings yet, but we'll see if he's there. And Instagram. Hold on. Let's see. We have to bring up Insta and the gram. Is it going to hit go live? And it will instantly in the going and the living. Yes? It's thinking about it. Look at that. We're live on Instagram too. Hi, Instagram people as well. Look at that. Thanks for reminding me, Andrea, because there's like 4 steps and 2 of them are stupid. Yeah. Instagram, can I just have the same stream key for my regular stream? Because I'm a regular streamer. Why do I have to put in a new stream every time? That's a lot of unnecessary calculation. It's a little silly. Please stop. Please stop now. Stop before you code again. It's not necessary. Yes, but I am live on the grams, as it were. That sounds like a drug reference, and that's wrong. Also, what else? Tomorrow night, Ultimate Jam Night. I got a great drive ahead of me because, yes, I am experiencing the rain here in Las Vegas. There is rain in LA, and it is extraordinary, but there is a gap from 9 a.m. till about 5 in the afternoon tomorrow, which should get me there in time to sound check and then get out of the rain for a little while and then come back after the gap in the rain. And then it's not supposed to rain tomorrow night, so I'll be able to drive back and all that. There you go. So fingers crossed. No show tomorrow, but I will be. I'm going to take my time, just so you know, because it's actually not the rain that's the problem. It's the wind. Oh no, it gives me the wind something terrible. Beware the wind. And you know how I mean that. And that's coming from a guy who has to deal with the kidney all the time. But I'll make it. I'll be all right. I just got to focus. Now, yes, the wind is down to 25 miles an hour. That's nice. That's not too bad. All right. Well, hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get there. Oh yes, it attacks me. Beware. I love you too. I do. And yes, the storm is not over. There will be a lot of it, but I will be again. The key is pacing yourself. We can all get. This goes out to my motorcycling friends out there, who will be familiar with this. Speed does not kill. That is a mistake. A lot of people will say speed kills. No. Speed does not kill. Hurried kills. Rushing kills. You can go fast as long as you're aware and you can afford to slow down, stop, move aside, and all that kind of stuff, because you're not so fixated on where you're going that you're excluding all the dangerous stuff that's around you. Speed does not kill. Hurried kills. Rushing kills. And Russians do kill. Yes, they are disgusting, awful people to a man. I try not to be bigoted, but they leave me no other choice. Every single one of them, evil, evil, evil people. Kidding. All the Russian trolls, cut that piece out and just air it on a loop over there. I could use the spike in traffic on my VK channel that's now defunct. P.S. Get the fuck out of Ukraine, you murderous assholes, etc., etc. Now, I saw something that I thought, in the middle of all this border stuff, that I just thought this was fucking magic. And we're almost at 64K, so hit the like, or hit the subscription, or subscribe and like and do the thing and stuff. I'll get it together. Come on. Yes, absolutely. It is not, speed doesn't kill you, it's the sudden stop. Yes, deceleration trauma is always the problem. As our friends Russian friends in high places always find out, it's cement poisoning. Gravity's a bitch. Gravity's a hell of a drug. All right. So let me show you. Let me give you an example, if I may, of a man on a road, a dusty road. And he's walking down that dusty road, not caring where it takes him, freewheeling with an expectation of what the world's going to be. But then the world gives him something he wasn't expecting, and he has a potential for growth. Wow, maybe I was wrong about, yes, and that man is a dick. This man has no dick. Well, that's what I heard. And I think, like all of us walking along the road, he can have moments of fear and trepidation that later on he realizes were unfounded, and that friendships could be built along the way. Now, this man, I'm going to leave his name out of this because who gives a shit? It's one of these channels that is like along with this guy's down there for the convoy, and so he's out there filming with, by the way, dozens of these motherfuckers. So let's see. Okay, suspicion. This is called Suspicious Migrants Busted, Eagle Pass, Texas. Now, this guy is reporting, and again, this is an hour-long video. I'm gonna jump through this. I'm just gonna needle drop as we go along and try to truncate this in as short a time as possible. Because now, what? Yes, vicious hordes. You will see. So let's jump in for a moment and get a little taste of who this feller is. It's okay if you're afraid. These people are very scary. Clearly an invasion. Invaders. By the way, if we're ever invaded by an army that has pastel backpacks, I think we're gonna be okay. Seriously, what would they have for their band? Synth pop? Seriously. So this guy's filming these folks as they come across. Now, wait, there's like two people, and then there's a bigger group behind him.
Okay, so I am just north of Eagle Pass.
Oh my God!
77 dirt road.
Really?
To the Rio Grande, and
oh, that's terrible. Hold on, I'll turn him up.
Of people that are coming into the United States illegally, walking down this dirt road.
They're walking down a long and dusty road, and he said, "Play the best song in the world, or I'll eat your souls." Are you enjoying the panic of the people he's seeing? Wait, it gets better. By the way, in total, this guy sees 50 people in this entire exchange in this hour. But
for at first light, folks.
First light, here they come. They're coming. It's very, yeah.
Look at this massive amount of group.
Massive amount of group. Yes. Yes, they group bigly.
Crossed. The Rio Grande is right over there at the other side of the hill. There's no border wall.
There's no border wall. There never was. There's also no, where's Operation Lone Star?
There's no border patrol out there. There's no National Guard out there. There's no fencing.
Because it's a fucking river.
Nothing. They can just come right across like they're doing here.
Now, I understand. By the way, people watching this, I understand if you're terrified at these people in particular. Oh, I'm clearly out of mental asylums. Look at them. They're all dumped out of prisons, mental institutions. That lady's clearly the woman in the New York hoodie who looks like she's on her way to like, I've got to change before Comic-Con, in her New York hoodie and her glasses and fucking nothing, because I think her dude is carrying her bag for her, literally. The guy ahead, you'll see that later. I think they get separated. Yeah. Vicious, clearly insane. Insane. You can tell by the look of her. Probably a K-pop lover. Just dangerous. There's your kids, father and son, which of course they DNA swab everybody when they go through and all this stuff, and they eye scan them, and now they fingerprint them and everything. Yeah, we got 9 million empty jobs. We'll get to that in a second because I have a follow-up to this video that's fucking spectacular. Okay.
Just waves after waves after
waves after waves. Well, not big enough to surf. I mean, honestly, probably wouldn't tip your boat, but
waves. There's another big group in the back here. They just keep coming over. Waves and waves and waves.
No, they don't really, by the way. I'm just saying for the record. This group comes over, and then there's nobody after it, and he moves on.
They're going to work their way to 277, which is probably about half a mile up the road. I'm sure Border Patrol will eventually intercept.
Why would they intercept? I thought the border was wide open and anybody can come in, and don't they get, weren't we told the Border Patrol isn't doing shit? Yeah, these all these folks.
What country? ¿Dónde vos? ¿Dónde estás?
The lady in the Santa hat says Nicaragua.
Venezuela, Ecuador, Nicaragua. Nicaragua.
And this lady's dragging ass. You could tell. You know how every group has one. You've been out. You're going out at night or whatever. You go to fucking Yard House with your friends, and you're gonna see a movie, and you eat, and then you're there. And there's always one member of your group who's like fucking around and finding out all evening, and somebody ends up holding her hair and that kind of stuff. That's this lady in this group. Hi.
¿Dónde vos?
Nicaraguas.
Yeah, Nicaraguas. I happen to be here. Hello. It's clearly a danger. I may not be able to continue. I'm so afraid. Fucking yeah, she's a Nicaraguan Karen. Do you get over here? And Nicaragua. I come here to be a dancer, and this is what I good. Yes, horrible hostility. I fear for my life. Okay. Wait. And she gives a thumbs up, like, again. I'll say, okay, so.
Nicaragua.
Like, and the first part of that word sounds like something I wish I could say, but I'm not allowed to because of the color of my skin.
Nicaragua.
But I'll say the whole word again because it makes me kind of feel good.
Look at this. More are coming, folks. Look at this, folks.
Wow. You're right. It's, Jesus Christ. It's overwhelming. The volume of people. It's just, look at it. I mean, I see them. You can see them, right? Squeeze in. There they go.
Coming.
Oh my God. All 9 of them.
More are
the slowest walkers amongst them.
Over the hill. Some massive group.
No. By the way,
showing that the border is not secure.
Yeah, the border's not secure, guys. It's not secure. Yes, it's an access road. By the way, this road was created during the Trump administration, more than likely for patrols of the border. And now, instead of having to walk across uneven terrain, there's a clear path. Now, there's an upside to it as well in terms of dealing with this, is that they all, all the migrants get on the one road because it's the easiest way, and human beings will default to, we're big entropy fans, so we will default to the least amount of effort for the maximum amount of productivity. So we'll walk on a road or a path before we'll walk on the outside area because snakes and scorpions and twisted ankles. And by doing that, you actually make yourself susceptible to being caught easier because there are sensors all along this road. Just saying. Like, there's these little, I don't know if you noticed, this little tower right here, that's more than likely one of the point towers. Just saying. Okay.
North of Eagle Pass.
I'm in north of Eagle Pass because Mexico is south of where you are, and obviously there aren't a lot of illegal immigration going into Mexico.
Eagle
All right.
Pass and Normandy.
Why are you whispering? There's no one around. What, are you afraid they're gonna hear you?
Border's wide open.
I don't want to wake anybody who might be in the bushes, yeah?
I've been down here for a week. I've seen crossings coming over. People coming over.
Yeah, it happens all the time. It's the nature of the southern border. We know this.
On boat. They've been coming over on makeshift rafts. They've been holding tires and going across the Rio Grande. Now, the Rio Grande is higher than normal, but it's still not preventing people from coming over.
Right. Well, hey, asshole, where the fuck do you think the derogatory term for Mexican migrants came from? Assholes in Texas saying that this guy's so fresh here, his back is still wet. That's where that came from. This has always happened, and it always will until South America and Mexico have as strong an economy as anywhere else, and nobody needs to leave.
It's still not preventing people from coming over.
Yeah, we I don't know. What are we going to use? Depth charges? Throw rocks? Okay, so this is that final group he's talking about.
I'm going to get my vehicle and pass them. And,
Okay, this is the other thing. So he gets in his car. Oh, of course, Eileen, I hate it too, but that's the point. Like, this dumb fuck thinks that like the cartels just invented crossing the Rio Grande. Jesus. All right, so let's skip ahead. So he goes and he goes in and gets in his car. And he turns out, and then he drives up a little ways. He sees the same, and then he passes the same people on the road. And he sees this guy. This guy speaks French. He's from Dominican Republic. And so this is the guy, just so you know, this is the guy he fears the most. This guy looks like a jihadi to this dude, and he's always trying to ask him questions. And that guy is not talking. He's like, no habla, or whatever. He's like trying to avoid talking. But ultimately, it's because he speaks perfect English, and he speaks French. Let's see if he might get a piece of this.
Dominican Republic.
Dominican Republic. Yeah. How many people in your group?
42.
42?
Yeah, 42.
Did you come across on boat? Or
yeah, boat.
Boat.
Yeah, boat.
Boat. Where are you going? No, what city?
City, I don't know.
You don't know?
Yeah, I don't know.
No. How did you get to Mexico? Did you have to pay?
4,000.
4,000.
Yeah, $4,000.
Each person 4,000?
Yeah, no, the boy.
Oh, by the way, they asked earlier, and it's 4,000 pesos. He says initially, and then he says dollars. So it's hard to tell which is true. But the kids are cheaper, so it's you, and if you bring your kid, it's cheaper. Is the idea? So it's like 3,000 pesos to get the kid across.
3,500 pesos.
Do they have parents? How much?
$3,500.
$3,500. Do they have parents? Are their parents with them?
No.
No parents.
No, sorry.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah. Oh my god. So there's a bunch of unaccompanied minors too, where they just send them in or whatever. Yeah. That's the other thing. We know this. We know unaccompanied minors are the biggest group that are coming across, except for something. I have a surprise for you after that. Sorry. No. Okay. Thanks, Andrea. We're good.
Oh my gosh.
Oh god. Unaccompanied minors at the border. When did that start? Like forever? By the way, why is this guy driving a truck? Isn't gas like $35 a gallon? Wow. Okay, and by the way, that guy's the straggler. Yeah, well, obviously the children are from mental institutions and insane asylums. Both, either, or together. Probably both. I think they go from a mental institution to an insane asylum to teach him how to be truly crazy, and then they set him loose on kids. It's like a bunch of little Nicaraguan Chuckies being sent across the fucking border.
No parents. Yeah.
No parents. No, they have parents. The parents aren't with them because the parents their parents might be dead. They might have no other choice. They might have been living with their grandparents. Or they might have and they're like, these kids only have a chance if we get them the fuck out of here, or they're going to have a fucking face tattoo or be sold. And so better to try our luck up here.
Hear that?
Yes, sir. We are.
3 kids in the back, no parents.
3.
We'll continue
Okay, so then he keeps driving, and he drives past them. Same people again. So you get the illusion. Look at this footage. It's the same people from the back. So, oh my God. Let's see, 42, see him coming. 42 from behind. That's 84 people, man. And 3 is basically a third. So like a third of them are unaccompanied minors. That's how this shit goes. So, all right. Then he gets ahead of them. And then he gets up here to the end of the road where they're almost at the freeway. I'll give you a little taste of this. Passes them and they're like, hey, I mean, look at him filming them as he goes by on his phone. Great camera angle. This is so fucking gonzo.
This looks like this is the front of the group.
Yeah. What gave you that idea? The fact that you're seeing the same people that you saw in the beginning of the line because you were standing down there and you decided to drive away when there were no more people coming because it was a single group of 42 people that the Customs and Border Patrol largely knew were already coming at this point. Like the cartels turned some of these folks in after they put them across, hoping a bunch of them get sent back so they can pay to try again. Do you understand? They turn these fucking people in. They take your money, then they drop you off at a spot and go, fuck you, good luck. And then they go, hey, we got I just saw a group of migrants trying to cross. Yeah, they're exactly on this path. They're at mile marker 12. And then they roll it, and the Customs and Border Patrol, like, they got to know something like, these motherfuckers just sent these poor people into this thing. Great. Okay. It's nearly nightfall. Nah, he's just turned his cameras. Hasn't adapted to the sunlight yet. It's nice of him not to run them over. I will give him credit for not running over the people with the pink backpacks. Okay, so this is the beginning of that same group. Yeah, this is the caravan. Okay, so we go, and he drives all the way out here, and this is where the road hits.
Nobody's out here.
Nobody's out here, guys. Come on. Look at this. There's the freeway. All they have to do is hitchhike their way, and the next thing you know, they're being put up in a luxury hotel in New York.
No National Guard, no Border Patrol, no...
Nothing. No National Guard. No, but what the shit? Greg Abbott, what the fucking nonsense?
Police. Nobody.
Nobody. Nothing. And here they come. 42 illegal migrants. A third of them are military-age males, and the rest of them are insane asylum reject kids.
Some sheriffs.
And women that aren't my type. So this is a horror show.
Nobody.
Hey, good morning, Mark. Watch this. Here you go. So he's going to sit there. He's like, there's nobody around. Okay. Ding, ding, ding. Here they come. And he films the same people further down the road. He's like, here they come. Like, yeah, it's the only road. You just passed. They're on foot. You're in a car. Okay, so these folks get up here. Here they come. Oh my God, look at these. Look at the children, and look how evil they look. This guy and this guy, and here they come, and look at them. They've all got phones, and they... Looks like, the way I'm flashing through this, it looks like the opening of Zoom. We're gonna zoom, 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 zoom. We're gonna zoom on. This week, we're doing a camping trip. Yeah, so, this is my business. Yes, you know that. CSL. Okay, so, oops. Oops. What's that? What's this? Who's that guy? I thought there's nobody? I thought there was nobody. There's nobody. And then what's that guy doing here? And then what's that car? What's that vehicle? Let's see.
Arrived. Border Patrol has arrived.
Really? So I guess the federal government is doing something about this?
They have arrived.
Yes, apparently they've arrived. Have you guys, in case anybody was wondering, they've arrived.
They have arrived.
And they've let you know it with a big siren. And by the way, you'll notice no one is bugging the fuck out. And no, this guy doesn't get arrested just for filming. It's not illegal. Nothing about it. Look at this massive group. It's the same. It's 42 people. Jesus Christ. You sound like you're inside a Trump rally. Wow, 57 people. His popularity is growing by the second.
It's a massive group.
Look at this massive group. It's the same group. Now, watch this. All these people walk up and they're like, "Fuck," or they're like, "Oh, good." Either one. No, they did not check his ID because he's in an American car that's got a driver. It's got a license on it. I guess it's current. And this is not uncommon, by the way. Yeah, that's right. America.
Even outside, it's packed.
That's right. I don't know if you know this, but outside of America, it's nothing but foreigners. Okay. Watch this. So all these folks walk up.
As soon as everyone gets here, because there's still more coming.
There's still more coming because they're walking and you pass them and then they say you didn't give them a lift at the end of the road. Okay, so anyways, they all come out here. Then CBP comes up and they start talking to them and they're like, hey, they start talking to them in Spanish. They got zip ties and all kinds of shit in case anybody acts up. And then they basically tell everybody, like, you're here illegally, da-da-da-da. And then they tell everybody to line up. They check, look at this. They check everybody's ID. They separate the men, the roofing age men from the women and children. They put them in separate lines. Now, does this guy go over to the line with the women and children in it and talk to them? Oh, no. Oh, no. So what he does is he stands on the side where the dudes are, which is about maybe 20 dudes, and there's like 22 women and children on the other side. Some are related, some are not. Right. Yeah, these are all roofing age men. Yeah, so there we go. And then there's like a little thing of, these are the unaccompanied minors right here. So if you're a family unit, like mom and kids, and you can prove it right here. Single women and little kids, unaccompanied minors, males. Okay, this is how they organize it. Just so you know, it's good that he's filming this. You never heard roofing age before? That's because I made it up, Moon Girl. That's my term to push back on them saying military age. They keep saying military age all the time. They're like, they're sending their men and they're all military age. And I'm like, yeah, but it's also roofing age. It's also the age you can do construction and manual labor. Yeah. That's why I call them roofing age men, just to fuck with these guys. So
There's still more coming. There might be 60.
there's not, by the way. There's 50. There might be 60. Oh, totally. CSL. There you go. It is. It's the size of a school field trip.
Still more coming.
Yeah, those are the stragglers he didn't bother to film. And he goes, families together, who's related to who? And they start talking, and they tell him, and then he goes, you, main dude, that guy, even if you're related to these folks, stand over there. And then they separate them out, and again, these are this lady and her little one, and these two, these guys are more than likely unaccompanied minors. Usually your unaccompanied minors are going to be 12 to 15. There's occasional 10-year-old or something like that, or is put with a loose relative or a family friend who's making the trek, that kind of shit. And that guy's with his daughter, it looks like, and he's like, just be cool, do what they say. And then this dude is just looking for a basement to game in. Just like, seriously, half these folks, most of the country, you'd walk around, you wouldn't even know, if they didn't speak, you wouldn't even know they were Hispanic at all, necessarily, which is the funny part. Like, the idea that we're supposed to be scared, and most of these people, if you saw them in the grocery store, this guy would go, Jesus, who the fuck is, oh God. And the rest of us would go, do you mind if I'm just trying to get some lettuce. Thank you very much. How you doing? Good. Okay, cool. All right, so they line him up. Listen to this dude. He's getting B-roll right now, I think. So remember, he started out this whole thing with the border is not secure. There's nobody. There's nobody around here. There's no National Guard. There's no nothing. Waves and waves of people. Okay. The waves and waves turned out to be 52, ultimately. and then they were met before they even got to the highway by Border Patrol. And then watch the rest of this, which is just like chef's fucking kiss of this guy's experience of like what he thinks is happening. He thinks it's a fucking bum rush across the thing, and they just hop into pickup trucks and are driven into the, he's like, where are you going? A sanctuary city? He does that a bunch. He asks people like, you going to New York or San Francisco? He like is kind of asking about sanctuary cities, and they're all like, I don't fucking know. I'm just trying to work and not get killed. Okay, so they line them up. They take everybody's name and their IDs as best they have. They see if they have papers.
About a mile. That's what's
Okay.
going on. Eagle Pass. Just north of 270.
Just north of Eagle Pass, because America is north of Eagle Pass. Yeah, we know. You could just, I'm just saying. Yeah, those Spanish have a word for everything. I'm just saying, you can skip the part with the we're north of, just north of. We get it. That's why it's the southern border. Okay, so he's like, see these people? Oh my God. So they go through them, and they check everybody's ID that has any. If you don't have any, and here comes another truck. This guy's like, look at these shoes. These are obviously military kit. Z-Wave, the shoe of illegal immigration. So they scan everybody's face with a phone, by the way, that not only has a really high quality phone on it, or photo capability, but also LiDAR on it, so it scans the topography of your fucking face. These days, like the kit that's available is hilarious. Tell me your name. Tell me anything you're going to tell me about yourself. And then they do that. Now this is just the preliminary, by the way. This is how it starts. There's that guy. The fucking dude from Dominican. Loitering back there, clearly la terrorista. He's just trying to blend in. Look at him with his bullshit fake glasses on and his stupid French accent. He's an Algerian terrorist known as the Jackal. Okay, so goes through this. Once they get everybody's shit, they're doing it with everybody. They have them fill out for the children. They take their shoelaces.
Shoelaces.
Yeah.
They gotta take their shoelaces off.
Yep. You know why? There's like 3 reasons. 1, shoelaces are dangerous. That's why you don't have any laced shoes in prisons. The other biggest reason is nobody, when you take them to the actual processing center, can get very far if they have newly unlaced shoes on. Suicide watch is another reason in prison, but not for these folks. Nobody pays $4,500 of money they don't have and treks like 7 fucking days to get someplace and then does themselves in. So this is a regular thing. They hand them all over. After that's over, they're finished scanning everybody.
And they're Eagle Pass. Miles down. Yes.
My Eagle Pass. This is happening. Every day this happens. Groups of 40 come over, and the CBP meets them, and then they process them, and then I'll just pretend they're, I guess, sent to New York to steal jobs from hardworking American videographers and vloggers.
Shelby Park, secure. But you got all this border between. Now people pushing north.
He's like, it's not secure down there. It's secure up here, but it's not secure down there. So they can come all this way and what? Set up a tent in the fucking desert until they get bit by a rattlesnake? What the fuck are you talking about?
Now people are pushing north. People from multiple countries, including children without their parents.
Again, why does this asshole think this is news? Anyways, okay, so skip through, and then they take away in the after a while. He's scanning people and doing kind of like trying to make shit look nefarious as they check everybody's ID. And then after they get the kids processed, the kids do have documents. You'll notice this kid. Most people ditch their shit. Here, I'll show you. A lot of people ditch their ID because they have a higher chance of getting asylum if they don't know really what country you're from. You can kind of tell a story or whatever. There's a bunch of that. And I'll show you why that is in a minute. But notice the kids, though. The kids have their shit. The kid, most people aren't sending their fucking kid this way without documentation of who the fucking kid is for real. And what they'll do is they'll contact and say, do you have any family down there? And they'll say, nope. Okay, thanks, Andrea, no problem. God damn, I look forward to the day when these kids grow up to be fucking Americans and know that there's like none of the other countries they went through to get here welcomed them in this way, even if they're processed and it seems like authoritative or whatever, because you got to have a functioning border. But in other places, they're just like whacked with sticks to just move on and treated really horribly. So I would like you to recognize also this is how Federal Customs and Border Patrol are treating these migrants that they find. Remember that. And all the fucking video you've seen of these assholes whipping people with their fucking, reins of their horses and all that kind of shit. Just remember that the vast majority of the CBP are handling people just like this. They're doing this processing. They're multilingual. They're, decent dudes who punch a clock, and women who punch a clock and work hard. So there you go. And this kid's like, why does he still have his paperwork? Why are they separating that? Because those kids are going to get us like special support because they're minor children that cannot understand what's going on around them at all. Like if you're 16, 17, it's a different game. Because there's sort of tiers in this. Oh, look, the major's there. There he is. He's in the background. I'll bring you on in a minute if you don't mind, sir. I'm going to finish this up. I'm just showing these folks the lovely workings. Hold on. I'll see if I got to set my shit up so he can actually see me and see the screen in a second. But there you go. Done. And there you go. Oop. There you go. Now you can actually see what I'm doing. As well. Give me a second. And then I guess we're gonna we'll only have about 10 minutes with the major because he was having issues. So let me here. I'll tell you what. I'm gonna bring you in because I have this me guess the news. Give me 1 second, my friend. And let's see. Can I get you in here? Yeah. Because I can stretch this out and I'll show you. And then give me 1 second. I'm gonna bring in our dear friend the major because I don't know how much you caught of this major, but this guy is he's like one of these online vlogger dudes who is very right wing and all this shit, and he's in like down there in Eagle Pass. There he is, ladies and gentlemen, the major. He's with us. Fantastic. Thank you for joining us. Sorry.
I'm sorry. We had visitors this weekend, and I totally forgot.
Capped it. That's all right. Fear not. We're good. Hold on. I'm gonna let me shrink that side down so I can show the screen. There we go. So this guy's been filming this group of about 50 migrants who came across Eagle Pass. Which, by the way, the only reason this is one of the few areas where they can still get across because of Border Patrol and all kinds of other stuff. So this is the major inlet, and even then, it's down to a fucking trickle. So watch as this guy continues. I think you can hear that, right? And you might not be able to hear the audio on this, I don't think. Yeah, because it's on a different browser. But this guy, films this group, and then they come up with these vans. And after they...
Anyone, rob and extort you on the way up?
So this guy's asking this dude if anybody's taken any money from him and stuff, and the guy's like, yeah, sort of. And he didn't want to talk to that dude because that dude right there more than likely is going to screw up his story. He's an economic migrant, not really seeking asylum, so he's keeping his mouth shut. But more than likely he'll get rejected, as will most of the guys in this line. They're all single males over the age of 18. That guy's another filming guy too. He's another one of these right-wing vloggers. He walks around. He's got a whole crew with him. The guy we're watching is just doing this on his fucking phone. You'll see that after they get this thing set up, that guy's asking the same guy questions, and he's starting to shut his mouth and say he doesn't speak because he speaks French. Then these guys get everybody lined up. They've taken their shoelaces. They've directed them. This guy's like, they've got them here, and they're men, and they've separated them into men, women, and children. And then they got the vans, right? And then they take the women and the full families. They get into these little vans. They load them into these vans, and they got enough space in there, seats and stuff like that for these folks. And then, if you'll notice, for all the whole military age male bullshit you keep hearing. By the way, she's one of the underage kids who's not with anybody. So they have a separate vehicle they take unaccompanied minors in. So they move her over, and they take her in a squad car, essentially, away from here. And then look what's left. This is the last line. These are and by the way, that's the unaccompanied minor, and then there's one other full family unit. See these guys? These are all the single, as I call them, roofing age males that these fuckers are always at a panic about. Okay? This is a whole family unit. They're all together. And they're from Haiti, I think. So they're keeping them together. Then they put them in a car together. Because it's two underage girls and their dad and their mom, and they're all we are for sure a family unit. It isn't just a single mom and her kids. It's a distinctive unit. So keep everybody together. And then these guys, when it comes to the men, check this out. So the men are all in a line. They're last to go. Ain't that the way? And then this comes. Where is it? This guy's wandering around. This other crew is filming them. And then we'll fast forward through this. The guy doesn't want to talk. He's the big star. They think that's the guy's the big story. In reality, he's fucking probably could have gotten a work visa if he'd waited longer. And then there's a Winnebago that stops. Hold on, I'll get there. She's doing a stand-up for fucking, whoever's, whatever media group is there. Is that Univision? Whatever. Here it is. And this is where the men go. The men go to a holding facility that has higher security. So they put them on basically a prison transport. It's slightly less than a prison transport. And they all get separated. They tag their belongings. They put them under the bus. They've got no shoelaces. They put them in the bus, and they are taken to a separate location. And then this asshole goes, so at the very end of this video, he's basically, the border's not secure down by the border, but up here it seems pretty secure. You're like, it's the dumbest fucking thing. Anyways, good morning, Major, by the way. I ride your sidecar on this breakdown, but it was so indicative of what these fuckers think.
Well, I mean, this is what people need to understand is that they want people across this country to think that it's absolute chaos at the border and that it's only fighting aged men trying to storm across. You see these people doing videos of people, and even our southern border. I mean, they're just trying to put that narrative out that says you better be scared, and you
Right.
better be scared that these Democrats are letting people come across the border.
Right.
Which, I mean, we've always, asylum is seeking asylum is legal. It's not breaking the
Right.
law.
Nobody is an
don't-
illegal migrant if they are seeking asylum. If they have asylum, or even during the period where they're adjudicating whether their asylum is legit, you're not illegal during that time. Now, there are limits on where you can move and what you can do. Your rights are limited during that period until we decide you're actually a true, asylum seeker, if you're worthy of it. And in the new bill, the status for what it means to be, a true asylum seeker means you have to have not a sort of a generalized fear of oppression. You have to have a specific fear of being tortured for your beliefs, like being ostracized or driven out, which makes you a refugee, which makes it the international standard. And in this particular case, most, a good 80% of the people who may be seeking asylum don't qualify on those grounds. About 20% of them do, and those people or are unaccompanied minors who, no matter what happens to them, if they're by themselves on the road from Nicaragua to the United States, is going to be bad. So the idea that they might be kidnapped or all kinds of other stuff is reason to protect them during that period if their parents can ever be found, whatever. So
yeah, I just think that I hope that there's a lot of documentation of everything that's going on at the border. Because I'll tell you this, if National Guardsmen are out there putting razor wire in the water, then when this is all said and done and this is over with, their chain of command has got some answering to do.
Right.
And they should be held accountable. I mean, if they're putting up razor wire where children are being drowned, it doesn't matter. Remember, you absolutely are expected to deny carrying out orders that are immoral, illegal, and unlawful. And I think that putting razor wire on a border in the middle of a river to try to keep people from swimming over, that is proving to kill people.
Especially if there is no, I mean, here it's not a deterrent. It's just a trap. Because if you can't see it, if you come up there, you've been in a little, like one of these little like cartel villages that they set up during the pandemic under Title 42, so they could set this conveyor belt of trying to cross over and over. If you could set that shit up, they'll tell you, you just arrived, you don't know, and they're like, we're going at night, and you're just like, okay, we're going at night, and you're gonna have to swim, and this is the shallow part, but the current's not bad, but you'll be able to get across there. And then you're met by razor wire in water you can't swim back from, because that's how you end up drowning, is that you barely make it across, and then you can't cross, and then you try to swim back, and that's what happened to that family. Or you get caught in it. There is no deterrent unless it's like, hey, assholes, razor wire. There's an element of, and can I show you real quick another razor wire turn? Absolutely. Now, razor wire is used in a lot of places, and it always has been. But it's not used like on a water's edge like that, where you have somebody who can die because of the terrain, okay? Yeah. And by the way, I want to remind everybody to pick up some super sweet fucking merch from Turn Left Pack. And it's turnleftpack.org. I'm going to make sure.
Turnleftpack.org. Yep.
Right. PAC. So this is, if I may, so this is a report from 60 Minutes about the Chinese people that are coming across the border. This is at a corner near Tijuana. So Tijuana goes up to this hillside, and then it becomes you can't traverse it here. But this little gap right here, they call it the Gap. It's known as the Gap. Is an area where you can climb up and you can go around. They put razor wire in there, wasn't enough, and people just push it out of the way. And you see a bunch of people getting snagged on it as they come by. One lady loses her hat, all kinds of stuff. Hi, Tara. We'll get to you in just a second.
Hal.
How are you? Give me a minute.
Great. Awesome. Hi, Major.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
And, we call it,
living the dream.
Yeah, it's called concertina wire.
Yes.
And it is little baby razor blades all throughout it. And it will snag onto your clothing. I sit and think about somebody trying to swim and get their clothing snagged, because it's not easy to get your clothing unsnagged. You pretty much have to rip it leaves loose. That
Yeah,
stuff's nasty. It's real
absolutely.
nasty.
Hold on one second. Let me take this off of here, and then I can bring in temporarily, if I may. Copy this in and just bring Tara in for this because it's a great conversation, and I'd love to have her take part in it. So close there, and 3, 2, 1, bing! There she is. Look at that. Hey, look at that. I'm sorry I don't have titles on everybody, but I'll get there eventually.
I think the
Yeah.
kids know who we are by now.
Right. We would hope. But it's, it's just, I think, good work overall, if I may. Now, in this particular instance, why is this not showing up on there? I don't know, it's being a jerk. Okay. So, sorry, Instagram, my guest videos aren't showing up, so you're going to just hear them. This is from that 60 Minutes interview. Now, it's about a 13-minute thing, and it's about how the Chinese are the fastest growing group of migrants crossing the border. Now, that's because there's a whole lot more of them than there are anybody else. And the other reason is because if you go from 0 to 10, statistically speaking, that's an enormous leap, right? Compared to everybody else. And if there were none of you and then there's a bunch of you, that, obviously, if you're tracking how many Mexicans have crossed the border or whatever, it's a 2% rise, which is the same number of people as the 100% or 1,000% rise in Chinese people crossing. Now, they talked to this one lady. They've got a guy with them who speaks English and Chinese. I don't think it's even the 60 Minutes crew. They might have brought their own guy, but this guy seems to be with them. And
we wondered how all of these migrants knew about this particular entryway into California. The answer was in their hands.
Okay, so they talked to phones. Hold on. This lady. So let me show you what this lady says. And you guys can hear that, right? Major and Tara?
I heard that.
I could hear it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is the part that I just thought was so fucking choice from this whole thing.
Many reasons.
She's like, why are you coming here? She goes, like a lot of reasons.
For work or?
是为了工作呢，还是为了什么？
不完全是为了工作。
Not entirely.
Okay, what reasons?
是其他原因呢？
想说啥就说啥吗？
可以。
自由吧。
Freedom.
You heard that right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to that again.
想说啥就说啥吗？
可以。
自由吧。
Freedom.
Yeah, there you go. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the essence of this fucking country, and the essence of, if I may, I'll grab these folks in here. I've got to move you fun folks around and turn the names off on these things because I don't know why I have since I got both of you on here. That I think that would be hi. There she is. I'll move you around. No, I got you. Whee! I got you. See how I was able to do that? And ladies and gentlemen, Tara Dublin rocks is right there. Yeah, and the Major on at the same time together. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah. So I don't know if anybody's had a chance. Have either of you had a chance to read in part or in full the immigration bill that came out? Because
no.
Okay,
no, you mean the ones that the Republicans are refusing to read because it's too long?
Yeah, I read it last night, and first of all, my favorite, I think, pushback is immigration's like only mentioned 20% of the time, and the rest of it's all about money for Ukraine and stuff. Okay, first of all, assholes, it's a defense supplemental. It covers a shit ton of stuff. Veterans pay, reallocating funds into the continuing fiscal year for a bunch of other shit. And the border aspect is a ride along on it. You know how they were saying we're going to attach Ukraine and Israel funding to this border bill, and it's the other way around. The border bill is attached to all this military shit, like everything, just continuing funding, just the stuff you have to do. The stuff that, by the way, Republicans are supposed to fucking do, and they don't. It's really like the regular order bills that they're supposed to pass, and it's not supposed to be a big deal. And so the fact that I said this on Shitter yesterday because Laura Loomer was like, 60 pay for Ukraine. it isn't even called a border bill. And I'm like, it's because it's defense supplemental, you tit. And the Border Act is like a segment of it. And I'm like, you can go back to being a fucking idiot. Everybody knows that's how ride-along bills go and stuff. It's not even called the border bill. It's colloquially referred to as the border bill in the media and stuff, but that ain't what it is. Anyways,
This is why bills. Well, I mean, I'm surprised about how long the bill is, but it also comes down to how lazy a lot of those people are. Nobody reads them bills, in Congress, and they're quick to get up on a stand and start spewing stuff. We catch Marge and Trainwreck Green and them doing that all the time, talking about a bill that they've never read.
Right. Well, and again, most of the shit, the point isn't to read it. That's why you have committees. You outsource because you got other shit to do too. You got to deal with your constituents. You got specific issues to your particular area. You don't need to read a bunch of shit about seismic measurements and all that kind of stuff. If you live in fucking Florida, you don't need to read a bunch of shit about hurricanes. If you're in Kansas, you got bigger fish to fry specific to that. So you have, and that's why everybody gets assignments to go on certain committees that they might know fucking something about. That's why, I mean, that's how they pick stuff for like the, emergency management committee kind of stuff. Because if you're from a state that experiences a lot of that shit, you know what it's like and you know what the needs are, and you talk to the constituents and your governor and the senators, you can work together. But the rest of these assholes, like this whole every state's a border state shit, which Kristi Noem says because she's got fucking Indians on her border, which is just that the Indians, the native res there is refusing to let her on property anymore because of the shit talk that she's making about the southern border, which is hilarious and terrific. So kudos to them. But the bill itself, like well, shit, I'll bring it up in a second. But Tara, have you seen the back and forth between these motherfuckers about this?
I mean, I've seen just another round of obstruction, right? It's just, they're only going to continue to obstruct Joe Biden.
Yeah.
So, and it's another example of Joe Biden needs to do something about the border. And Joe Biden's like, okay, here. And they're like, no, not that. Do something else about the border. Do something we like about the border. Do it our way. Do it piecemeal the way we want it to. Give us what we want, and then we'll sign it. And that doesn't make any sense. That's not how it works. And that's not what Congress is supposed to do. And all they care about is obstruction. It could be the most perfect bill ever introduced in the history of Congress, but because it will aid Ukraine or it will help people that the Republicans don't like in some way, shape, or form, they're going to push back. And they're going to say it's biased. They're going to say Democrats are doing such and such and Democrats are doing this. And it's the same old bullshit. It's like, bring in Hunter Biden for questioning. Oh, no, not in front of everybody else. It's the same. It is the same. It's the same childish demands. And then when they get even a little bit of what they ask for, then like, no, I didn't want it that way. So what are you supposed to do when you have them just all they care about is obstruction? It's the dog and pony show, but on February, like same show, different day, right? And they're still performing for the audience of one. And Trump is like, make sure you don't fight, don't sign any bills about the border. Well, what the fuck do you want, right? What is it? Because you don't want the people coming into this country. You don't want Ukraine to have a safer, more safer borders, because you want Russia to take them over because you're all fucking Russian assets, starting with Speaker Jesus Freak Mike Johnson. So it's so obvious, and that's why. And I don't know. Obviously, I'm not military, and I don't have all of the information required to discuss this very delicate situation, and I haven't read the bill. But what I do know is that Republicans don't give a shit. They don't care about people. They don't care about saving lives, obviously. And that video where you're showing, oh, we're being invaded by, a group of 9-year-olds or whatever, like, again, it all comes back to, can we just get the truth out there? And if they would just give a little bit, give a little bit.
Let me, here's the thing. Go ahead, Major, and then I want, Major, and then I want to say.
I just want to say that, that's why it's important that the Democrats are telling the story. We know that Donald Trump is telling members of Congress on the Republican side to do everything in your power to keep chaos at the border. We know that Donald Trump is doing this. We know that Mike Johnson is basically being a shield for Donald Trump. The key thing is we also need to let people know and understand that Democrats have pushed legislation that would do all the things that we need to have done on the border. But
Right.
the Republicans are denying this because they want chaos. And the thing is it's blatantly obvious. We can sit here now and say that the Republicans are doing this on purpose. So whenever a Republican starts talking about the border, we need to say, but you ain't doing nothing about it. And you're
Right.
caught. You know it. They should not be able to use this as a campaign topic.
I think
they're caught in it. They're caught up in it.
I agree.
It's their fault.
Well, and they always say, Trump is always like, I'm the only one who could fix it. Well, you had 4 years of illegally squatting in our Oval Office to fix it, and you did fuck all. And what you did do didn't work. People are slipping through slats in your wall. So,
well, here's I've made this point before, but the wall didn't work, or we wouldn't have this problem. If the wall solved it, if the wall was actually a solution to this, it wouldn't. And most of those people that I just showed in that video were caught because of sensors at the border, not the wall. Because the wall, a wall instead of the sensors, which is what Trump wanted. Again, he didn't want any of the, he's like, they wanted to give me drones and all kinds of stuff like that. I don't want that. And satellite imagery, I want a wall, because he wants a piece of furniture he can point to with his name on it, and that's why he did it. So let me give you an example, though. Those people are all caught because of technology, not because of the wall. And they're all alive because of that very thing. And I'm sorry this thing keeps popping up in front of Tara's face. And
what is that? I can't even see what that is.
It lets me know that when people have liked and stuff, and I greatly appreciate it.
I appreciate that too. Thank you so much.
Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. Also follow Tara Dublin Rocks and buy her book, and also turnleftpack.org. Okay, here we go. Now, so this is the text of the bill, and it just goes on and on and on and on and on. I went over it last night. I read it, and again, there's some most bills have repeating parts in it, so you'll get to sections, and some of it's just definitions. If you already know the definitions, you can skip past that point. But let me show you, this is a good example. The vast majority of what this bill says. Weapons procurement, Navy. For an additional amount of weapons procurement, Navy, $706,976,000 to remain available until September 30th, 2026, to respond to the situation in Ukraine for related purposes, provided that such amount is designated by the Congress as being for an emergency requirement pursuant to Section 251B2A of the Balanced Budget and Emergency Deficit Control Act of 1985. So there's still control. Look over it, make sure it's going where it's supposed to. Shipbuilding conventions. For an additional amount of shipbuilding and conversion Navy, $2,155 million to remain available until September 30th, 2028 to support improvements to the submarine industrial base and for related expenses, provided that the total of that meets the heading of the act, and funds shall be made available as follows. And then they break down which submarines it's for and what they're actually doing. If you'll notice, all of them say to remain available, because a vast majority of these things are already allocated funds, but are part of the review process. So what you do is the government says, we're going to spend this big chunk of money on this big fucking thing. And then every so often, you have to pass a bill going, are we going to keep spending this money? Is it working? And they say either yes or no, but these are like mile markers in the spending of tax dollars. And they're incredibly important. And it's the boring part of legislation, because getting a big submarine budget thing passed at one point is the sexy part, but the re-upping of it for decades because it requires that is not sexy at all. So none of these people give a rat fuck about it. And every time Ukraine's name comes up, they fucking flip out. All of this is, the vast majority of this bill is that kind of stuff. Let me scroll down and show you another thing real quick. So hiring waivers and hiring flexibility in the Anti-Border Corruption Act of 2010 is amended by striking this thing about how they need to hire more police officers and more Customs and Border Patrol people. So they mildly amend what clearance you need to have that role. It used to be much higher because it was sort of post 9/11. It was like, oh my God, Islamic Jihad are coming here. But right now, that's not the real problem. Plus, we have backups for all that kind of stuff. We have the intelligence community and other folks looking into anybody who might sneak across. So the rest of these fuckers are just migrants. And we need more people to deal with just migrants. And there'll be a supervisor above you to make sure that none of these super bad guys slip through the cracks. Right? That's it. And that's all this is. There's a huge part of that is just them being able to hire more CPB based on local cops, people who, if you live in fucking Montana and you're a retired police officer, they raise the age that you can do it. And there's a GAO report. How much does it cost? Is the money being spent effectively? Most of the bill is that kind of stuff. We'll check in, make sure it's working. We want to report. We want, you got to give us the numbers where the money's going. Not until you don't even get to the stuff about the part of this that's about the border until, where am I? Page 200. Classified briefing on staff. So, okay. This is the, subtitle B is the Fend Off Fentanyl Act. This is attached to it. The top, right above this is the part about shutting down the border if the number gets over 4,000 for 7 days or more. It gives them the right to absolutely reject everybody permanently, not based on Title 42, so you don't get a second shot. You can't keep running across and running back. It's way harder. It sanctions China. It stops chemical precursors. It works with the Mexican government to stop them from going into Mexico, so we can interdict on Mexican shores. If we know a boat is illegally, we can work with the Mexican Navy to stop these fucking boats. I mean, it's like, there is nothing not to like from a Republican or Democratic view on this. Even the harsh parts are done nicely. The asylum processing enhancements are there, so people can't just go, here, I'll tell you the big one. In this part of it, protection determination is the thing that makes somebody available to have an asylum claim. That's, we determine that you need protection. And right now, there's like 5 questions, and if you answer them right, we have to assume, based on the general rules, that you can deserve asylum, even though you may not merit it, really. So we set it at the international prohibition on torture, and said it that, look, just being in a rough neighborhood at home isn't enough of a reason for you to claim asylum in another country. That's not the same thing. You have to be persecuted for your religious beliefs, your race, or even an economic reason can qualify, but most of the time it's based on this. This is the credible fear standard and asylum bars at screening interview. So they're striking the significant possibility and inserting reasonable possibility into torture. So they lower the standard for what it means to be torture, but they raise the term for what it means to be in danger.
Unknown caller.
Oh, do you have to go?
What day is it, son?
I've got to get this. I've got to
Take
get
it.
this.
You got it. Absolutely. We'll see you later, Major. Thanks. Answer it. Cheers.
Hello?
See you later. We'll let him go. There we go. I'll go back to me real quick and let him go. Hold on. And then I'll bring in
God bless us, everyone.
everyone. Hold on one second. He's got to bail out anyways. We got him early. I'm going to bring you in a second. Where's this guest? There we go. There she is. Hiya. And then I got this. And then, yeah. So welcome, Tara, and thanks for being here, and hi, and all that kind of stuff.
It's lovely to be here on a Monday like I often am.
I know. It's great to have you here. I'm fantastic. And if I may, let's see. I'm going to open
this
guy
back
up.
to this bit of business.
Yes. So this is the big one. This is the thing that will make the biggest credible change at the border over anything else, is the standard by which you can qualify for asylum. Because right now, NGOs and other people can teach you, if you're coming across the border, how to answer certain questions. They know what the form is, and they can help you bullshit your way through, essentially. And they're trying to put a stop to that, because the asylum system shouldn't be abused, because we will run out of money and support for people who actually need asylum.
Right.
And we have a lot of people who need asylum, for example, that are coming in via the airports from places like Afghanistan that used to work for us there, people in Iraq who used to work for us there, people, all over the world who are, Russians who worked with us on the inside and who, had to bug out at the beginning of the war and have been living in fucking Georgia, and they're being tracked by the KGB and shit like that. And they need to come over here. And that's a process. If we run out of money and support structure for those folks, because people have been muscling their way to the front of the line by bullshitting, it harms people who really need asylum. It's okay to have a standard. It's not bigoted or prejudiced in any way. It's based on a real need. And you shouldn't let people, take advantage of your good nature in that regard and bump people out who legitimately are in danger for their lives because if they're gay and if they go back to Afghanistan, they'll be fucking killed. That's the difference, right? Mm-hmm. So I have to say, like, having read through this and the management part of it, this is, you know what struck me? You know how I know Mike Johnson didn't read it? Because his tweet, I think people saw it. Is it in this one? Where is it? He tweeted, "I've seen enough. This thing is dead on arrival," or some shit. I forget where the.
You mean like babies who get cut up by razor wire and get drowned? Dead on arrival like that. Speaker Jesus freak needs to fucking go. He's walking around claiming God is telling him he's Moses. If I walked up to you on the street and said that, you would think I was an insane, crazy person off my meds, which he is. That is the Speaker of the House talking about Moses and God speaking to him. Shut the entire fuck up. He's a literal basket case.
Yeah.
And that, keep it out of our house. Keep your religion out of our house.
Yeah.
Because he already sounds cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, right? Mm-hmm. He already sounds like that. And then he has the fact that he has any influence on how our country is run is abhorrent. All of these people, I mean, we can, go beyond Russian asset, try to overthrow the 2020 election, all of the terrible things that Mike Johnson is. He needs to go home to his prayer closet and get out of our house. That's, at the most basic level.
Yeah.
Like I said before, they are there to obstruct Joe Biden to please Donald Trump.
Right.
That's what they're doing. And so if the bill was just that section that you just read, that was pleasing to both Republicans and Democrats, they would still find a reason to not vote for it because it came from the Democrat. Yeah. Like if it does anything that's going to make the Democrats look good, they're not going to sign it.
I gotta say, I find I've been trying to wrap my head around the other than just fealty to Donald Trump, why any of them think this is a good idea, and I'll tell you why in a second. But this is what he wrote last night. "I've seen enough. This bill is even worse than we expected," which it isn't. Is fucking ridiculous, and won't come close to ending the border catastrophe the president has created. Okay, first of all, the border.
He didn't create it.
No, he didn't. And the number below, the number of people crossing right now is below 2019 levels. So at this point, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. As the lead Democrat negotiator proclaimed, under this legislation, the border never closes. And that's not true at all. If this bill reaches the House, it will be dead on arrival. I don't know what the fuck I don't know who said that. But the border is, we have ports of entry. That's not the point. We're not going to close ports of entry. We got to handle people who sneak through in trucks or climb their way around and that kind of shit. But there's no such thing as closing the border in that regard. Like and if you're that
like
fucking.
They want there to be some sort of just a wall all around the country with one gate. Right. And that gate opens for 5 minutes a day, once a week. And 4 people can come in, but they have to be pre-approved by the GOP. That's not this country. That's not how it works. And
it's not how any country works, but that's the funny part.
They tell the minions, right? That's what they tell the cult, and that's what the cult regurgitates, and then that's what the MSM repeats, and then that's what becomes the message instead of the actual truth.
Well, that's the problem, though, and I do think there is something about this. Is that, and by the way, Greg in our chat says, "How can you give New Zealand a plug for our Foundation Day?" Absolutely. Hello, Kiwis.
New Zealand is the best place in the world.
Super great, absolutely. Especially if you're a Lord of the Rings fan. But yes, overall,
I'm a Lord of the Rings fan. I'm a huge fan of New Zealand. My older son did his first semester of his junior year in college. In New Zealand, had a wonderful experience, then came home and went into a pandemic. That was fun. Anyway, New Zealand is delightful, and I would like to eventually someday when we have teleportation. I'd like to teleport to New Zealand instead of sitting on an airplane.
Summer
for
at one
24
point was
hours or
talking about
whatever.
like us buying a house there and living there because, great internet and all that kind of stuff, just because it's a lovely place, whatever, and it
Yeah.
has lots of beach. And
Yates.
she loves that kind of stuff, right? And I was like, it'd be a little hard for me to get to like Nerd Halen rehearsals. That commute is rough. It's rough enough already. 4 hours
Yeah.
is a bitch, but this would make it'd be difficult. But I'm not against it when people are bored with me. That's where I will go.
It probably would be a lovely place to retire.
Yeah. So absolutely yes. Now let me. I still think the Republicans have painted themselves into a corner with this. I really do think that the love of gotcha journalism on either side of the aisle in this particular instance loves the idea that if they have something concrete, they can go, "You said this, and we have you on tape, but this is what it actually says. What do you say to that?" And that right? Yeah.
Let me move these goalposts a little further and not actually answer you.
And this puts them in that particular instance, because on the one hand, you can't claim it's a crisis if you don't want to do anything to solve it. And if you think it's not enough to solve it, that's one thing. But if you can get something passed that is a mitigatory step in the interim, and then you can tighten it down when you prove that that your way is better. If you're saying it's wide open, and then you're not willing to go for these things, even maggots are going to hear the substancy things. That's why yesterday I went on a posting spree and posted the actual bill underneath a bunch of these assholes, Byron Donalds and all these dickheads.
But they don't care about that, and that's
Doesn't
the whole
matter.
point. Also,
I know
they
that.
don't want their base to find out about the facts. How hard was it for them that they actually reported good news about the jobs report on Fox and that the economy really isn't as bad as they've been saying, right?
Well, but it is rolling out. It is changing minds. There was an article, I think, in the Daily Beast, might have even been this morning, that the GOP has a Biden economic problem. And the whole point is that no matter what these fuckers think, I told you, it's the fucking football dividend. These assholes can only go, yeah, America's hell, at a fucking game they paid $200 for seats for to get a closer seat because the $180 seats were 8 rows back, and they just decided to do that, and they're holding a fucking IPA because they like specialty beer, and they had to get their doctor put them on a gluten-free diet, so they're having nachos instead of fucking a corn dog this time, but they're still having a great time. Whatever, like America's failing, glug squirt. Like it's
again, it's Taylor Swift's fault.
Right. I just got to say, at a certain point, reality does start to kick your ass, and there's and the people who are, I think, the maggots that are, are still going to try and defend Trump and all this kind of stuff. That's why they were embarrassed into silence for years. You know how they're all loud about shit now? It's because shit was rough during the pandemic, and it gave them an excuse to say the government sucks and it can't do anything right because Donald Trump was running it, and so are the Republicans, and shazam, everything goes to shit when you hand something important over to someone who hates that very thing that's important. Shock and awe, and so right, and so they could justify that everything was ass, right? They can't do that anymore. They really can't. The number of guys that were doing like, man, America last, and these fucking Democrats and blah, blah, that were like a year ago when shit was really bad for, as far as inflation at the spike of the supply shock inflation, those motherfuckers were like, he's gone. We want Trump back. And now they're all their videos that they're putting out are about, this is my new machine shop I put into my house, and this is the piece of gear I bought. I got a great deal on this, and
Thank you, Mr.
asshole.
President Joe Biden.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm sorry, you bought an $8,000 piece of gear for your garage shop on a fucking whim because you always wanted it, and you're gonna turn around and when Donald Trump says America's going to hell, you're gonna not expect me to give you the Prince side eye?
Donald Trump pays $20,000 to stage a fake
scab rally,
union rally, calling us paid bad actors. Can you stop now? You've been doing that for 8 years. The projection doesn't work when we have you. And where'd you get that $20,000 from? Did you grift it from your base like you grift all of your other money that you're not paying your lawyers with? Yes, you did.
Mm-hmm.
When is it enough for people? When is it enough to say, oh my God, I gave this man my money and I never got anything in return? They don't get anything. They have no return on their investment. Zero.
Right.
Why would you do that?
I
It's just not good policy. It's not good economics for you personally. If I
Right.
kept giving money to the Democrats and they turned around and spent it on their own lawyer because the RNC is now broke because you bankrupted them with your legal fee, like there needs to be a point where reality really sets in. We've talked about this before. There is that like handful of the
Yeah.
cult that they will never relinquish. They will be cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs forever to his last breath.
basket
when he
of
ends up on the
deplorables.
toilet,
That's what-
like Elvis with his phone.
Right.
Because now he's comparing himself to Elvis. Why?
Because
those drugs that
I'm
Ronnie
dying sweaty and
Jackson gave
fat.
us.
That's why he's doing it, because you got to understand. There's a lot of even comparisons. One, I was very heavy at the end, but I still was loud. And also, my face does weird shit, and his face does weird shit. And also, my skin looked very bad at the end. And also, I was on a lot of drugs. I was on a lot of drugs.
Which
A
is
lot
why
of.
you couldn't go to the bathroom.
That's
which
right.
Is why you
I was-
ended up having
somebody
a heart
did-
attack on the toilet.
Why didn't somebody tell me that mixing cocaine and benzos made you constipated? Why didn't they tell me that? I wouldn't have pushed so hard. I'd still be alive.
Probably not. But see,
probably
the
not.
only difference will be that when it happens to Trump, he'll still have his phone in his hand and like half of an all caps Truth Social rant about E. Jean Carroll. Like
Uh-huh.
he won't get to finish.
He'll die
that's-
ranting
that-
about his heart. My heart is a Democrat. It just got me coffee. Like, it's like literally, like there's. I don't doubt that after, God forbid, Trump passes, because again, I'm interested
God
in
forbid,
him.
like eventually,
I mean, during the next few years or whatever, while he's still ambulatory and speaking, like if you're
All of
dribbling
his
into a
court
cup and you're
appearances.
that's fine. But I just don't want. I mean, whenever he dies, it's going to be they martyred him. You know, it's always going to be he was a Jan 6 martyr. He was 102. They kept him on life support for 2 decades. Elon Musk must put one of those fucking like prongs in his head so that he could fucking keep bullshitting while he was.
him. He's
Yeah,
Neuralinked to Elon Musk, and so as long as Elon Musk is alive,
My
Trump is alive.
Neuralink does typos. It's basically a Democrat that gets me coffee.
drives my Tesla right into a wall.
God, you know there's some like maggot fucking around out there right now trying to make an LLM bot of everything Trump says just so that if and when he passes, they can still hold conversations with him. It's like talking to the real guy. What do you mean? Well, it's interesting. I
He
plugged
talks
in all
just
of his
like me.
all
He
of his
sounds just
speeches,
like
everything
me.
he's ever said. I put it all in there, and then I type in and go, "Hi, Mr. Trump. I'm a huge fan," and he just it's weird. It ignores me,
Grab him
just
by
like
the
he
pussy.
would. Right? Yeah. It's got a little robot arm on it.
Get crooked.
Mm-hmm.
This week, hopefully, Judge Engoron will stop teasing all of us and bring down that decision that will bankrupt him further. Because
Well, yeah.
there's
I
a
mean,
big
one
old-
of the
we got
he-
we got that to look for.
well, and also after the 83 million, he bragged about how rich he was again, like a fucking idiot. Because if you got the more gains you got out of being fraudulent, if they establish the fraud, then the more you're like bragging about, I got fucking cash everywhere. And like, oh, you do.
No, you don't.
You got plenty of cash. All right. Well, that's the first thing we
cash to
take.
put into the bond for the appeal. You don't have that. You're not going to be
Right.
appealing this shit
No,
again.
by the way, he's full of shit. That's what all the
Always
panic is
was,
about.
always has been. Hello.
This is on a total side note. Can I show you something real quick? This just makes me happy. See that thing right there? Looks like a whale breaching in the night. That's a Russian warship sinking. Fucking pulling a Titanic in the Black Sea.
Nice.
Yeah. That's
Carlson on
more.
it, please.
Huh?
Tucker Carlson is currently in Russia. Was Tucker Carlson, Comrade Carlson, was he on that?
No,
trip,
they're gonna give him a tour of a shipyard, I'm sure.
Why
but
is
yeah.
what you doing over there, Tuckums?
Well,
Introduce the frozen food empire to. Why are you over in Russia, Tuckums? Can you stay there? Just stay there.
Right.
Just stay.
Yeah.
Are you
I don't know why he
establishing an apartment
doesn't.
for you and Trump to live in together? Is that what you're
Uh-huh.
doing?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's super.
Well, there's a bunch of that.
Says it all.
Yeah. There's a bunch of that. In the meantime, there's so much shit that's going down this week. What's your standout story for the week that you think is going to be the big one besides the border bill? Because we obviously have.
The border bill. We're hoping that Engoron hands down another delightfully huge decision because the next one will also prevent Donald Trump. He already can't run a charity He now can't run business. He will not be able to do any real estate dealings in New York State. That's huge.
Yep.
That comes down. And then I would love for everyone to keep focusing on the fact that he's got an incredibly long court calendar ahead of him. But I would also, why was Nikki Haley on Saturday Night Live? That bothers me a lot. It's this normalization of these fucking idiots. Stop putting them on TV. Stop it. Stop it. Does this mean now, is he going to start crying because she was on? Now he gets to be on Saturday Night Live again?
No.
I mean,
he was already on.
Fair use. We got a fair use doctrine.
Nope. Yeah, no.
That
doesn't
made
matter.
me very angry. I don't have live TV, although I watched the Grammys live and because I paid for Paramount Plus and then I deleted it. So yeah. Anyway, because I'm poor. But anyway,
Thief.
I don't watch Saturday Night Live. I watch the videos when people post them, and I was just like, what the fuck?
Right.
Why would you have a Civil War denying woman? Why? Why is she there? It's just stop all of this normalization and MSNBC not telling the truth about Joe Biden anymore. Like, what the fuck is happening?
Mm-hmm. Well,
that's why I'm wearing a typewriter shirt today, because I'm really worried about the written word and the truth and sourcing the truth and where does it come from? Because all of these journalists are losing their jobs. I still don't have a job writing about politics. And the fact that people want to seize on the dumber stuff and blow that up and make that true. And I'm exhausted from it. And if you want Trumpers to see truthful things and accept the truth, maybe put it in front of them a whole lot more. I don't know. Try that.
Yeah, I will disagree with you on the SNL thing in that her appearance likely gave Trump palpitations and flop sweat because again,
that's what she's around for. She's she's supposed to do that, but she doesn't have to do it that way.
Yeah, it's fine. It's not gonna. No. They had one of the other people stand up and ask her what was the reason for the Civil War and does it start with an S and end with lavery? And she's like, I should have said that. Right, I should have said that the first time. Fine. The fact that she has to means that she's in a totally separate category from Donald Trump. Like again, you got to take your wins. All progress is meaningful in that regard. And the fact that she had to do it,
be their nominee.
And no, I know that, but the people who are entrenching around her are getting more and more entrenched, even to the point of saying the more she's like the losing candidate, the more her vote actually means I'm not voting for him. And as that vote grows, what you're seeing is the never Trump vote grow. So yes, will he be the nominee? More than likely. However, once they get, if she's at fucking 38, 40%, which she is largely, what it means to those voters is, I know she's not going to win, but fuck him. And that's enormous in a general election. That's never happened before. We had a little bit of that with the Bernie bros, right? And they've been parading a bunch of these like people like, I'm not voting for Genocide Joe. I'm voting for Trump this time because I can't believe blah, 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 Ghazi shit. All those fuckers. And you dig any deeper and they were hardcore Bernie bros. They didn't vote at all. They didn't. They bugged out. And they're not going to vote this time. They're full of shit. But the point is that every little boost they give her, that normalization of her, is a constant reminder that the Republican Party will never elect a woman of color. They are incapable of a woman at all, but especially a woman of color. And the Democrats, we can shrug that off, and that's totally fine. It's all based on qualifications. We don't give a shit. And the fact is, they can stack that all they want, but they know they're lying to themselves. And whenever you're confronting, let a hypocrite be confronted with their own hypocrisy. You don't have to sell it to them because they can entrench and say, fuck you. But if they have to deal with it in their quiet moments, they do. And it makes them angry and disconnected. And that's where a lot of them are giving up. And if you watch on the Telegram channels, on a lot of these YouTube channels where the right-wingers are talking, a lot of them are doing the whole, I'm not in either party talk again. On a spike. Uh-huh.
Sure you're not.
Right. I'm just, I believe in, a strong border and blah, 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 blah stuff. And and it's not even like, I don't mind the mean tweets if we get this. They're just distancing themselves from the whole fucking mess. Or they're talking uniparty because they know, when stuff goes through, that's the only way to defend, Trump's position on this. By the way, this is his statement. He's got this contract with Truth Social, right? And, it's so weird because in this contract he's not supposed to post anywhere else, but he has a Trump Truth is a Telegram, and he just puts the same shit there.
I think that people repost what he posts on Truth Social claiming to be him. Or there's a Twitter account that says like Trump's Truth Socials or whatever,
no, that
but
I
it's
know,
not
but this is
him
his actual
doing it.
Telegram. This is his actual Telegram. He has a real Telegram. This is it. And that's the thing. It's
so-
like, it seems like it would violate that whole thing, but whatever. It's a great way to look at his shit
Well,
without
I don't know
having
that a shell
him getting credit.
company's going to hold you to too much anyway. So
Well,
whatever.
especially because they're going to collapse. But he
Of
goes,
course,
only a
that's the whole
fool.
point they were created.
Right. Only a fool or a radical left Democrat would vote for this horrendous border bill, which only gives shutdown authority after 5,000 encounters a day. It isn't. It's 4,000 a day for 7 days, and then it can be shut down for fucking months. When we already have the right to close the border now, which we do not. He had the ability to close it because of Title 42 because it was a health emergency. That was the only reason. It was a worldwide pandemic. Once the pandemic ended, you don't have any justification for that at all. You can't just say foreigners are diseased because you know what also has to happen? You got to shut down all your fucking airports at the same time or you're making a discriminatory judgment, which is a violation of the Constitution. Fuck him.
Oh,
Anyways.
is it?
Yeah. Which must be done. This bill is a great gift to Democrats. That's true. But also not signing this bill, not voting for this bill is a great gift to Democrats. So, and a death wish for the Republican Party. I don't know what the fuck that means. It takes the horrible job the Democrats have done on immigration and the border and absolves them and puts it squarely on the shoulders of Republicans. No, that's what not voting for it does, dum-dum.
He didn't write that, by the way.
Don't be
He didn't write
stupid.
that.
No. Well, somebody cleaned it up for him. We need a separate border and immigration bill. It should not be tied to foreign aid in any way, shape, or form. It's not going to get a vote if it's by itself. It won't matter. That's at all. Even with everything they want, even their House bill won't pass the Senate because the senators aren't going to vote for it because they know that it's fucking written with crayons and hammers and it's stupid and it will cost us more than it gives us. So they're not going to vote for it. So it doesn't matter. So it's got to be attached to something else. The Democrats broke immigration in the border. They should fix it. Okay. The access roads put in so that they could build a wall. Did it. Yeah.
But I mean, point to any post of his where there's truth. There's not.
Right. This is that Elvis picture that he put up, which just looks like.
And now people are making fun of it. They're like, people tell me I look like, and they're choosing people that they don't look like at all.
Yeah,
yeah, sure. People tell me I look like I don't know. They don't tell me I look like anybody. Sometimes they tell me I look like Anne Bancroft. I'll take that.
I get that. That's good. Yeah, that's nice. I can see that.
That's a fine
beautiful
compliment. Woman. I'm not gonna. But the whole point is,
occasionally people think I'm the lead singer of Train.
I have met the lead singer of Train. You are not him.
All right. Yes, that's true.
I would much rather talk to you.
I'm definitely not, but sometimes people will think that. My hair's longer than his, too.
Lead singer of Train, by the way, I met them
when my hair's
I
short.
have a friend who's friends with them, and I met them a few years ago when they were touring with Goo Goo Dolls, and I was backstage, and Pat Monahan gave me Train has their own wine, and it's called Drops of Jupiter.
Oh, God.
I know. And so he puts a bottle in front of me, and he goes, take that. Put that on eBay. You'll get hundreds of dollars. And very quietly, Jerry, the keyboardist, goes, you'll get $12. That's it. That's my Train story. Anyway, that's that. How about them Grammys, though? Did you watch the Grammys?
I watched some of it.
I cried so much.
Oh, yeah, Fast Car?
Feels last night. Well, first the seeing Tracy Chapman was incredible. Mm-hmm. I love Tracy Chapman. Tracy Chapman is college. When my first years at Emerson College, because we used to see her busking in Harvard Square, and then she's all of a sudden she's famous, which was incredible. Yep. And then Annie Lennox, and then Joni Mitchell, and then Taylor Swift, and then after I got after that ended, I looked and I got another great 5-star review for my book, The Sound of Settling. So last night was all full of emotional good things. Aww. And I was hoping that there could be something like we could always take a moment on our Mondays together. Like we can keep talking about the garbage fire as much as we want, but I also want everyone to take a moment and find something to be happy about and find some joy and find something good and something that they can get behind that makes them smile, because we're allowed to do that. And that's another thing that MAGA doesn't want to. They don't want us to enjoy our lives because they don't enjoy theirs. And so every single day when I post something about my book, there's always someone who posts, "Oh, your book is a piece of shit." Well, you don't read, and I'm not going to really be concerned
Right,
about
yeah.
what you say. And all of the anti-Semitism, I'm really, really, really concerned about all of the anti-Semitism that we're getting. And so for me, while I'm
Right.
working really hard on pushing back against that, you still, please do something good for yourselves.
Agreed.
Because this is what happened to us in 2016 and in 2020 is the negativity from the Trump side is
Mhm.
intended to wear us down and make us feel like things are hopeless and feel like that there's no reason to keep fighting and that there's nothing good to salvage, and that's all a lie. So, as hard as we struggle and like things that I'm not happy, like, me personally, I can't post anything positive about the jobs numbers from last week or how great Bidenomics is doing, because there's always some assholes like, well, you don't have a job. That's Joe Biden's fault. No, it isn't. It's not Joe Biden's fault that the journalism industry is imploding. It's
Right.
mostly Elon Musk's fault for suppressing links to the truth.
Mhm.
So I want Mark Cuban to buy Twitter from Elon. Mark Cuban, and get some friends of his and have a hostile takeover, because Mark Cuban is very unhappy with Elon Musk, and I would like him to demonstrate that somehow. I think we've had enough.
Right.
I think it's really, and this Linda Yaccarino woman is, I'm so over her and I'm so done with her. She testified in the Senate last week about protecting children. No, you don't. You don't do anything to protect children when Elon Musk is pushing bullshit lies about Pizzagate still in 2024. You're not helping. You're not doing anything about anti-Semitism on Twitter. And I know this because I reported 17 accounts yesterday, all of which tweeted horrific anti-Semitic things to me. Like Jews deserve to die for killing our Lord. What the fuck is that? The Jews did not kill Jesus. If you want to believe the Bible myths, it's the Romans who done it. Okay,
Sure.
not us. And we don't, again, it's all of the stupid bullshit. And I reported 17. And the ones that, first of all, they don't bother to respond to all of them, but there were several that they respond, we didn't find any violation. We didn't find any violation. And someone in my feed today responded to one of those anti-Semitic tweets saying, I'm going to report you. I'm like, well, why would you bother? Here's the screenshot of Twitter's response to me saying that they didn't find any violations. And I'm tagging Linda Yaccarino in everything. And I'm tagging Elon Musk, and I'm using the hashtag Linda doesn't care, because they don't. And we need to be demanding better, demanding better, that if she goes and sits in front of Congress better hold up the anti-Semitic tweets that I get and say to her, why don't you do anything about this?
Right.
No one's asking them the right questions, which is another reason why I need a job in politics. When you have Joy Reid and Charlemagne the God talking about how bad Joe Biden is doing,
right.
And I'm constantly now I'm not going to let it wear me down, and I take my breaks and I do my self-care and all of that. But we need to have, I think we continue to show as Democrats that we're unified behind Joe Biden, despite what the MSM says. And I think South Carolina proved that.
Yep.
Go away, Dean Phillips. What the fuck?
Well, okay. There's some Dean Phillips news.
Truths.
One is that I think it was in Indiana, they found a bunch of fake signatures on his his qualification papers. They had 500. They reviewed 530 of the the people who the addresses and signatures on one of the, just at random, I guess. Only 19 of them were real. And so,
get the fuck out, Dean.
Yeah.
You're not a Democrat. Go away.
No, yeah, and we've run into this shit before. Again, it's not there. All the polling that I've seen that is legit in any way, I think, all points to the fact that third-party candidates are taking more from Trump than they are from Biden. It takes from both candidates, but Trump has a huge drop-off. Now, you stack that with the number of, again, fuck Trump voters that were never Trumpers. Now they're like, fuck him. They'll vote for Joe Biden or not at all. And you cannot afford on the day to lose 10, 15% of your base, period. You can't. These are always turnout elections. They're razor thin because of people who wear a D and an R on their shirt. And so it's the overlap voters. There are not enough Michigander, communist Islamists that are not going to vote for Joe Biden, that are going to vote for Donald Trump to make a fucking dent in the Michigan vote. It's not going to happen. It's fucking ridiculous. But it makes
ridiculous.
It makes a good story in that regard. But
like Dean, you lost not only to Joe Biden, you also lost to Marianne Williamson.
Yeah.
Both of you get on the mothership when it comes back to beam her. She just gets beamed up every 4 years, and then it beams her back down to try to spoil another presidential election, and then it beams her back up, and then she goes away. They can go away together. We don't need them. We have made our decision. We're unified behind Joe Biden.
Yep. What's for lunch? Joe Biden.
Dean.
What's for breakfast? Joe Biden. What's for dinner? Joe Biden. I agree.
Joe Biden.
Absolutely.
Joe Biden,
Yeah.
Joe Biden. And we have a deep bench of Democrats who are ready to go everywhere across the country. We've, like Gavin Newsom, like Pete Buttigieg, like the vice president, we've got a deep bench of great Democrats who are going to go out there and spread the truth and the message about Democrats doing good stuff. Doesn't matter if Republicans don't like it. It still is the truth.
By the way, while you and I are frustrated about, people being honest about what's the news that's available, the stats that are available, the jobs reports, all those kind of things, and we want that to happen. Meanwhile, over in fucking cloud cuckoo land, this is General Flynn's. This is General Mike Flynn's Telegram channel.
Telegram. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is where they talk. This is where
it looks like
shut down the country, reopened the country. That is a level of what the living fuck? That's amazing to me.
You mean the same General Flynn who lied to the CIA twice? Come on now.
The guy who works for Turkey and the Russians?
Forever ago.
Absolutely.
And his son. I mean, that guy belongs in, they never should, he belongs in prison forever, along with his son and along with everybody else and Peter Navarro and all of the other really lunatic fringe ones. Those are the most dangerous ones. The ones that keep getting to go around and talk to people in little group settings where people have a lot of money and very specific access to certain people who are higher up. And it worries. I mean, General Flynn is fucking insane, right? He takes the QAnon pledge over the Pledge of the of Allegiance, okay?
Yeah.
And then there are people who are like, no, he's our guy. General Flynn, no, he's going to lead us. He's going to lead us in the battle against the Democrat, whatever.
I would like to say, though, for the record, again, if I can cheer you up, if I have a responsibility, I think in this situation, it's to, is to give everybody to terraform things, to basically bring things back down to reality. These are the same people also who said there were 700,000 truckers, and then that there were 70,000 truckers, and then that there were 7,000 truckers, and then that there were 700 truckers, and there were not even 7 truckers. So,
come on now.
For the record, these people are noisy. They have been with us forever. They go through periods of hiding themselves and just being embarrassing people you don't want to start a conversation with in a Cracker Barrel. But the vast majority of them, quite frankly, don't vote, especially the Trumpers. The weirdest fucking thing is, and Trump, as much, because a lot of times they'll censor him when he talks about the election. You've noticed this, I'm sure. Well, they'll cut out the piece where he starts talking on, whenever he's on Fox or on Newsmax even, or any of the ones that are being sued by Dominion, voting systems. They will cut out the part where he says it was stolen and rigged and stolen or whatever. But in some ways, they are, as much as you think they're trying to cover their own ass, they're helping him a little bit, because when he keeps saying that, his voters don't vote. Every time they hear that, they're like, why the fuck would I go in one of those voting booths? They're probably tracking my eyeballs and scanning my face anyways. I don't want any machines, because I walk in there, they know exactly who the fuck I am, right? That's nuts. And they're not going to vote. They aren't voting. They didn't vote. That's why there was no red wave.
They didn't show up for him last time.
Right.
Basic math. 81 million votes.
And that's
Joe Biden
what
got 81 million votes. And the people to this day are like, Trump won. The election was stolen. Really? He lost over 60 times in court trying to prove that.
And you vote, and you motherfuckers tried to vote twice. That's the other thing.
And
everybody who gets arrested.
You don't win.
Yeah, right.
So,
everybody who gets arrested was trying to vote for Trump. Every single time. We have not had a single person who tried to vote twice or with someone else's ballot that's been arrested that wasn't voting for Trump.
And now they're going after Fani Willis because she's got a boyfriend.
Well, yeah, it's not gonna. Even if the case, it's not gonna change.
It's Fani Willis's fault that Donald Trump called up Brad Raffensperger and tried to bully him into doing election fraud.
Yeah, it doesn't change. It won't.
I don't think it is. Not Fonzie's
No,
fault.
it's an HR thing, and it won't amount to a fucking hill of beans. But
people are saying that the other guy should recuse himself from the case because of, in the court of public opinion, who gives a fuck? He's doing his job, she's doing her job. They have nothing to do with each other. It doesn't matter. It's distraction, and it's goalposts moving because they know they're guilty. They don't want a black woman bringing down Donald Trump. Guess what? She's not the only black woman who's bringing him down.
Racist in reverse. It's racist in reverse. It's like,
oh, but I can't be racist because I'm Jewish. Wait, I'm not Jewish because I'm white. Wait, I can't be white because
I call it racist in reverse, which or some people pronounce it racist. That's you're welcome. I just made that up.
People. I just you know what I want to do is I want to take the whole country and shake it like a snow globe like this and like just like reset it. Like
it's already being reset. Here's the thing. It is. And again, this is one of the things where like you're part of Team Salvage Twitter, and I respect you for that. But again, it's become such a shit posting site that it's like it used to be a fake window in the world. It used to give you this idea that, you know, you're looking out in the world and this is what's actually out there. When it's not, it's more like a TV screen that's tuned to a particular channel. And now it's on a fucking loop. So everything, like Twitter's focus since Elon Musk took over has consistently narrowed, like, and it's like horse blinders. And if you spend all your time on there, I see, like, there is a guy, Matt Marsden, who's an actor. He was in a couple of things. He's in the Rambo movie. He was the sniper in it and whatever. And a fairly decent guy for the most part, but a hardcore conservative and like a John Voight conservative, and just totally involved in politics. And like, he hates that they call him an actor and an influencer and an activist, but that's exactly what he's doing. He's trying to get everybody on the Trump train. He liked DeSantis, but now that it's over, everybody get behind Trump and let's do this because he's so panicked about all the other shit. And he is being attacked right now on Twitter by right-wingers. I get in there and I give him shit because human to human, I can have respect for your humanity, but I can also call you out on your bullshit. And you can call me on my bullshit if you think that's there. And that's how life is. It's how democracy works. Totally fucking fine. But the language I use does not dehumanize a person who does not dehumanize me first or other people first. If you're just being a dick, it's a whole different thing. And he's just being a dick sometimes. And I'm sure he thinks my response is being a dick. These motherfuckers are borderline threatening his life. And they're all maggots. They're all Republicans. And all of those fuckers, like the way they're talking to him is in a way I wouldn't like the way they talk to you, the way that I get talked to by them.
But what are they mad about? What are they yelling at him for?
He's trying to
on the same side.
Well, a bunch of these folks were DeSantis voters, or there's the 8 years versus 4 years crowd on the Republican side. This is one of the biggest. You can talk about a civil war in between inside the Republican Party. There's this fight going on. If Trump gets in, he can only have 4 years. We need somebody who who have the same policies, who can go for 8 fucking years, because they have the illusion that they can win one election, much less 2 in a row. And they're trying to find somebody who will do Trump's bullshit, but will get reelected. Trump did his bullshit and couldn't get reelected. So the idea that any of these guys aren't going to pad out and move to the center and make them think they're a betrayal rhino, blah, 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 is nonsense. It's not going to fucking happen. So they're all fighting over this part. That's the big one. Like, yes, if he gets in though, but the Democrats still have the Senate, and we're probably not going to be able to flip
We're going to get the House back too. So
yeah, we are. We absolutely are.
They basically have handed that to us on a silver platter. Again, I'm going to go back to, if you want to make sense in a political argument and anything that you think is going to save the Republican Party, you make a call to Chris Christie and say, come back, Chris Christie. We're not going to vote for Nikki Haley, and we're not voting for Donald Trump. We need a real candidate.
No, it doesn't. He's not going to. No,
I know that's not going to happen.
Of course, right.
He never should have dropped out. He never should have dropped out. He should have hung in there.
Well, it didn't matter. Here's the thing: why he could drop out. None of his voters, none of the people who are voting for Christie are going to vote for Trump in the general at all. And him being in or out doesn't matter. Those people are either engaged or fucked off. And a bunch of them moved to Haley or DeSantis temporarily. After DeSantis dropped out, they moved to Haley. But if Haley doesn't win, they're going to vote for Joe Biden. They're dead serious. They're going to vote for Joe Biden.
There's no redemption for the GOP. None.
No, not and
Because they're not
Chris Christie
they're
being in
ne-
or out would not affect the trajectory of those votes at all. They are either for Biden
No.
or they don't exist. They're not
Right.
going to be Trump voters, even if he came in and kept hitting him. The reality is that he wanted to come in, tell his truth for a while on a national stage, which he did, be in a couple of the debates, do all that kind of shit. And then when all this shakes out, and Trump is a fucking shitty memory, like that Trump is the human equivalent of the 2008 crash or the fucking 92 earthquake, which is what he's going to be. We're going to look back and go, remember that shit? That was fucking nuts.
Yep.
Chris Christie's going to run as a legit Republican. That's his plan. That's what he's going to do. And he'll gain more support if he backs off now and these assholes memory hole anything they didn't like about him to get a Republican in office. That'll happen. Yeah.
But that's not that far off from things that I've been saying all along, because their path to something that resembles what they used to be is putting a candidate up who is actually capable of saying truthful things about Donald Trump while also continuing to push the party line. And then the other advantage that they had with Chris Christie that they don't have with Nikki Haley, aside from the gender and the skin color, is that she still supports a federal abortion ban at 6 weeks, and he does not. I mean, his abortion stance isn't great because he's a Republican. But the fact is that of all of the candidates they had, he was the closest one who could at least maybe bring in those voters who were like, well, I used to call myself a Republican, but now I can't because of this craziness. He at least never went full MAGA, even when he was working with the Trump administration and all of that, because he's still a Republican. But now he's one of the few Republicans who's going to be capable of distancing himself from the Trump taint, because he's not bathing in it like everyone else is, right? You're soaking in it. He's not doing that. And even if Nikki Haley occasionally emerges to say something truthful about Donald Trump, every so often she still reverts to something that
she's a Republican.
Right.
She's a modern Republican. She believes what they believe.
Walk that line. She's got to walk that line of, because she knows she's not going to be the nominee, and people are going to expect her to put her weight behind him. And she's a lot of, like, she said she would pardon him and all that bullshit that she says.
Right, but that's
that's not your party.
Right, but that's how they
You're
get.
not gonna,
look, there is a. I agree. And by the way, I want to remind everybody to pick up Tara's book, "The Sound of Settling." There it is.
It's at TaraDublinRocks.com, and as of today, I have sold 472 copies.
Fantastic.
472, and when I get to 500, I will reveal the title of the sequel that my readers have been demanding, because I have a draft of that, and also we're still looking for that. We're still looking for that agent to sign Tara and get me to the next level, because I can't quite get there by myself, my friends.
Understood.
So please go to TaraDublinRocks.com, buy this book, and give it a 5-star rating, because the other thing that's happening is that the shitty MAGA people who troll me on Twitter are going to Amazon and they're trying to Marjorie Taylor Greene my book, and we can't let that happen.
that happens. There's a little more recourse about that than there used to be. There used to be none.
A little bit, but Amazon has not taken down a single one of the fake reviews I have been reporting for months. It's fine. That's fine.
Right.
I'll just be frustrated until the right person comes along.
And it won't. And it's not going. And by the way, it's not going to reflect on anybody who's going to buy the book in the long term, anyways.
No, because you can read the real 5-star reviews that all say the same thing. You know, I couldn't put it down. I read it in one night. I want the sequel. I want a streaming series. It's all 5 stars. Those are the ones to focus on, not the fake ones. But I'm going to keep querying agents like I have been, and I got a really great rejection last week. I can be my own tireless advocate, agents. I just need your connections. You can sleep in. I'll get up early and do all the social media. I just need you to get me to that person who's going to adapt it into a streaming series and then pay me for this and the sequel, so that I don't have to worry about paying March rent, because February rent was a squeaker. Anyway, my friends, go to TaraDublinRocks.com. Anyway, thank you for the plug.
Absolutely. Yeah, no worries. And we're at the end of the show anyway, so I want to thank you for coming on. Thank the Major as well. He's a busy dude. So everybody check out Turn Left Pack.
I'm going to be on with the Lincoln Project at some point very soon.
Oh, nice.
I'm going to go on. Yeah, Rick Wilson and I are going to have a chat.
Oh,
That's
great.
going to be fun. Yeah, I'll let y'all know when that's happening.
Absolutely. Let him know I'd like to be on too, because I haven't.
I'll see what I can do.
Yeah.
I will see what I can do.
Or if they have a spokesperson, I'll have them on my show.
Sure, we'll just do it. Cross promotion.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be. Look, we got to build a scaffolding. Yeah, we got to build a scaffolding this time, because these, and we also got to, you know, again, our reposting and bumping up game in social media has to be on point. So
we really need to be as united a front as possible, because the Republicans are not. They're not united. They don't have one unifying message, and they don't have one unifying candidate like we do. We're incredibly lucky to have Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and the deep bench of other Democrats who can step up for them, and the record. If for nothing else, if you're getting pounded on socials, just go to whitehouse.gov and use the link to the Biden-Harris record, because it's just truth.
Yeah.
Here's what we have done. Here it is. Here's the list since we've been in office.
That's
and
right.
It's irrefutable proof, and it's not filtered through the fake news media. It's just real. You know, those are real facts. It's not, but here's the other thing. It's not really up to convince people who have already made up their minds that they're going to vote for Donald Trump. That's not what we're there for. We're just there to keep broadcasting the truth. I don't care if they don't like,
to use a modern reference, I consider myself the Iron Dome of bullshit. That's my job. Is I just fucking swat these idiot turds out of the fucking sky.
They don't like that. They don't like the truth. That's why they troll us. It's all about, they don't have anything else. And you know, like I spent a lot of time dealing with these assholes and like the whole Taylor Swift bullshit. I'm a Swiftie over 50. Do not come for Taylor on my watch.
Right.
Do not. And I will issue anyone who tries it with Taylor. I have created what I call the Taylor Swift Eras Tour Challenge. You're going to step to Taylor Swift and you think you're somehow superior. Greg Kelly, Jesse Waters, you know, Matt Walsh, Nick Adams, Charlie
sad
Kirk,
little lonely men.
little sad little losers. Taylor Swift trained for 6 months for her Eras Tour by running on her treadmill for 3 hours a day, every day, singing her entire set list out loud. If any of you puny little maggots coming for her can do that, you have to film yourself doing it. If you can do that, I will back off. I will say, yeah, look at you, you hunk of specimen. Look at you, you manly man. Are you going to let a girl beat you? Huh? Are ya? So you have to film it. You won't even get halfway through Miss Americana, and that's the opening song. I dare you all. I dare you and defy you. And I dared one guy. He's like, well, why would I do something you're not willing to do? I'm like, I'm not the one saying Taylor Swift is a witch coming down from somewhere to ruin a football game, you losers.
Right.
I'm not calling for a holy war against the biggest pop singer in the world.
Right.
Donald Trump.
You notice how by the way, you notice how like these folks are the devil for all of
they're all the
13 months.
They're all Satanists.
And then they're all Satan, you know, the minions of Satan for all of 13 months.
Satanist.
And then once the like the window passes, they don't give a fuck anymore. Like, I mean, these motherfuckers wearing Balenciaga still, and this was supposed to be like, remember that weird fluff about them having like, you know, child torture images in their ads and all this bullshit. They were all QAnon'd out and stuff like that. And now everybody's back to wearing their shit. It didn't really matter. It all passed. Like Bud Light, fucking Bud Light runs this ad with fucking, I don't know, one of these brothers that is one of the coaches or whatever. And he's like throwing them to the guys at the bar.
That's fine, but don't let Dylan Mulvaney do it. No, she's not allowed to drink any beer. They're the dumbest protesters ever. Remember
it's very
when they
weird.
were protesting Hamilton? Like you were ever going to go to Hamilton. And they protested Hamilton because Mike Pence got booed at a performance of Hamilton. And so like, boycott Hamilton. You wouldn't even listen to Hamilton. You wouldn't even listen to the first song from Hamilton. Shut the fuck up when they were boycotting the red Starbucks cups. Shut up.
Sure.
They're the worst.
For the record, all of Hamilton, the actual musical Hamilton is an act of booing Mike Pence in its own way or whatever. My only problem with Hamilton was it's anti-gay, and it's clearly got like this weird homophobic character about the king where he's a foppish
there's
gay
that,
dude.
and then there's the relationship. There was they alleged back in the day that Hamilton had an affair with one of his boys.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that like the king is bad because he's gay, not because of what he does.
And by the way, if you're really, Hamilton's not supposed to be like a direct history lesson. You know, you're welcome to go. I mean, there are obviously factual things that happen to it, but the fact that colorblind casting enough is triggering for the MAGA people. How dare you have a black man play George Washington? Well, come on, it's a representation of the ideals of
Well,
that time. It's,
and
you
the
know, come on,
irony
stop
is
it.
that it's the perfect counter to the thing that they think the woke crowd hates America. Hamilton, in of itself, tells a story that like this is all of our history, and
Right.
that everybody is capable of this kind of fight for freedom within themselves. So the casting part of it doesn't quite matter, and that
No,
this
that yeah,
struggle,
but they can't
and
handle
that
the
yeah.
delicacies of
Oh
that.
yeah, of course not. It's
You know.
ridiculous. I mean, here's the thing. I grew up as a Kiss fan. I grew up with them always telling me that my favorite music was devil worship. Even
Of
the
course.
name was supposed to be Knights in Satan Service, you know. And so I learned early on how that bullshit machine works. That's maybe
Well,
where
it's
the
ignorance,
Iron
right?
Dome of
It's
bullshit was first trained. Was just going.
it's all ignorance.
That's nonsense.
I mean,
That's
you're welcome
nonsense.
to live. You're welcome to live like an ostrich while the rest of us enjoy reality here on
Life,
Earth
yeah.
One. And you can continue to twist yourselves into conspiracy pretzels, but you're not going to be very comfortable doing it. You know, it's just easier to look at the world truthfully and go, all right, well, I don't like that, but I accept it. I had to
Yeah.
listen to George W. Bush
Right.
administration. Like, no,
Right.
8 years of George Bush. No, that we accepted it. We didn't like it, but you know, we lived through it. So denying reality doesn't serve anybody.
Right.
Not that I mean, I don't think I'm talking to anybody who doesn't agree with me here, but like, we didn't deny that Michael Avenatti was a piece of shit when we found out he was a piece of shit.
Right.
We didn't deny that
That
John
was
Edwards
easy.
was a piece of shit when we found out John Edwards was a ginormous piece of shit.
Right.
And we're not denying that Bob Menendez is a giant piece of shit. Go away, Bob Menendez. Look, I just said something
Yeah.
real about a Democrat that was critical.
Yeah,
So
we're good with
if
that.
we can,
I don't know
right?
why that's so weird for them. I don't know why that's such a. I mean, I
Because-
do because it's a house of cards. Because if you pull one thread, the whole thing comes apart. And we have our outliers, our bad apples are bad apples. They are outliers. Their outliers and bad apples are the ones that got caught. The only thing that's an outlier about Donald Trump's criminality is the fact that he did it so overtly they caught him in doing it. Because, you know, fuck
Four
it.
times last
Rick
year.
Scott-
How many times?
Rick
How many-
Scott, you know,
All of them.
Cheney, their relation to Enron and all that kind of shit. It was all part and parcel of that. So, anyways,
Oh.
we went way over the show. So I want
We did.
to thank
Watch
the chat
for
and
Matt
thank you.
Gaetz and Vish Burra this week, by the way. Vish
Ooh,
Burra
yeah.
is in a lot of trouble, as is George Santos and Matt Gaetz and the House Ethics Committee investigation. Keep your eyes on that also, because
We
when I see
might
Vish
have a
Burra
majority. The Democrats might have a majority in the House before the election.
Ooh, because we need to get a Democrat into George Santos' seat, New York. Come on. Come on.
Oh, we will. Believe me. This was.
Please. Please.
Oh yeah.
All right, everybody,
No.
buy the book.
Clear. Okay. Yes.
Tag,
Thanks so
sign
much,
Tara.
Tara. You're
Thanks,
awesome.
Al. Love you guys.
TaraDublinRocks.com. Bye.
Bye.
Yay. There she goes. Thank you so much. And off we go. And by the way, thank you, chat room. Hi. How are you? There you are. Let me move this out of the way so I can actually see you. Blink. I did predict that in 2020. You were absolutely right. And thanks, DJ Hawk, wearing the patch proudly. We have more on order. Everything is so slow. I apologize for those waiting for their blue patch. I'm trying to come up with other alternatives. It's just been a lot. Just a lot. And then I have another uncle on wind down, let's just say. So that eats up a lot of my side window. So apologies if I'm a little lax in some of those things. It's some days it's a Herculean task just to kind of make sure that I'm here on time to do the show in the time window that we have. So I appreciate your patience in that. Yeah. No, it is not Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam is doing just fine. But anyways, like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show, and I will see you guys this afternoon. Will be a regular show this afternoon, 3 o'clock at my time, as normal. Please share the show, share the clips, send stuff around. That helps immensely. I'll try and remember to do the sales pitch, but super chats and all that stuff are very welcome. Deanne, thank you for becoming a member for 34 months. That's so awesome. Tony, thank you so much. Cardle, Chandra, thanks for the like. Wendy, Jackie, Doc, Dick. Doc Dick sounds funny. Emily, William, Ged, Tony, Joshua, Scott, thank you guys so much. Peter, thank you for the super chat. That was amazing. Greatly appreciate that. Gia61 has become a member. Thank you so much for that. Greatly appreciate it. Chris, thanks for subscribing. Look at all those folks on Facebook hitting that like. Facebook is killing it with the likes. Now, I get to see the Facebook likes. Maybe it's because I don't get to see the YouTube likes as they come in. So hit that like and let me know if we're doing it. And maybe if you guys want, I don't know, maybe we can do a show later. I'd like to, but I don't know. It depends on if you guys like the show or not. And if the deep state doesn't kick me off the internet.
Outside, it's packed.